Hey, welcome back to Her Restored Spirit podcast. My name is Tammy and I'm your host. And again, I am just a couple of weeks away from announcing the new podcast title. So those of you who are subscribed, it will change automatically. So it's the same channel foundation or whatever, like I'm using Podbean. It's simply just going to switch over to the new podcast. If you don't subscribe though, and you look it up, then, and I think even if you're on Spotify, Alexa, all of those, like it will change over. But if you don't subscribe, you're going to have to actually search for the new podcast title, which you don't want to miss it because it's really good, but I'm not going to tell you about that yet. But over the next couple of weeks, you'll kind of get a little bit more of a hint of where we're going and the reason we're going. And today is another little hint for you. So what joy journey, what's your joy path? Like which one, where are you on this joy journey? Did you know that you're on a journey, a specific joy journey? Do you know that you're on a growth journey? And why it's important to know where we are. So many times we focus on where we want to go, what the end game looks like. And if we don't focus on the present moment and being intentional, then how are you going to get to the destination, right? It doesn't happen like circumstantially. It doesn't happen over happenstance. Like we have to be intentional to get the things we want. And like a goal, and for instance, if you have a goal to, run a 5K, let's say a 10K, because there's a lot of you out there who I know can say, okay, I'm going to run a 5K in 2 weeks and get up and do it. You may like break down in the process and never want to do it again. But I know that you could do it. I know that if I needed to, like if there was a bear chasing me, I could run a 5K. I don't know why it would be like he would need to run 5K. Like I would have to continue. But anyway, my point is, that's not a very good illustration. So let's talk about a 10K. If you know you want to do a 10K, right? That's what you want for the future. Do you start the morning of the 10K? Ideally, no. And if you do, and you can, then good on you, but how could you have done it differently? How could you have actually enjoyed the experience more? Because it's the steps, it's the path, it's the process that really we connect with ourselves and we connect with God, we connect with our families, we connect with the world around us in the present moment. And the steps happen, the path happens, the journey happens in the present moment. I was thinking about how everything, we are so programmed to jump ahead, to think ahead, even right now, I went to Hobby Lobby yesterday. And if you're not listening to this when it drops, if you're listening to this later, it is August. It is early August. And they have Halloween and fall decorations. Now, I don't like decorating for Halloween. It's just a personal preference, but I love fall colors. I love fall colors, fall smells. I love the coziness. I love apple cider. I love all of that. And so I started getting excited. And I'm like, oh, it's time to decorate for fall. And then I'm like, Tammy, snap out of it. You have another 4 to 5 weeks of summer season. Summer doesn't end when school starts, which for my kids and many of your kids I know it's already started. That might be the summer break, but we're so programmed to race to the next thing. I think that's one reason why a lot of us feel so overwhelmed and busy, and is because we've been programmed to keep going, to not finish decorating for summer or look at the different things. Like I got so excited and then I was like, no, I had already told myself until like September 1st, I don't decorate for fall. And I choose September 1st because, well, it's close enough to fall, but it also gives me, because I know mid-November, like after Thanksgiving, that's when I start decorating for Christmas. And then it comes down right after Christmas. I know many of you have deep thoughts and about that, but that's okay. That's what works for me. After Christmas, I want everything down. I still like the winter feel, but Christmas, all the things of Christmas can be put away. Back to, let's bring this back into where I was going with this, is understanding the path we're on helps us see if, one, we're going to hit our intended destination, and two, it's going to help us to see if, like, where we are and how can we enjoy the moment right now, which is interesting because we're talking about the joy path, because joy, it's part of it, right? As Christians, we're expected to know what joy means. We're expected to search it out, and actually, I am creating a podcast of how to choose joy, because so many people, it's something that I say, and they're like, but Tammy, I don't know how to choose it. I got you, girl. We will talk about ways to choose joy in the next podcast. This one, though, I want you to know why it's important to know where you are on a journey. And specifically, our joy path, our joy journey. And so let's just dive in. Like, what in the world is a joy journey? And this is something that I have been researching and following and praying about for a really long time. As you know, choosing joy is kind of one of my mantras. It's kind of one of the things that I have actively worked towards doing. I mean, I even have it on my wrist, right? Like tattooed, to choose joy. And my closing is choose joy until joy chooses you. And it's like, but what's the purpose of that? Just to be happy, to put on rose-colored glasses and to avoid circumstances, or just like not let anything get you down? And that's not it at all. So life is hard. I mean, God even says, find joy in the trials, which to me says you're going to have trials. You got to just see the positive in it. But it doesn't say choose joy and happiness so much that you don't experience them, that you avoid them. And so in order to really experience life, we have to understand our relationship with joy. And many times as believers, we connect joy with a state of doing. I need to do joy. I need to do things in order to feel joy. And I want to say that that is more of the circumstantial happiness. Many of us know that joy and happiness are two different things. I personally believe that happiness is more circumstantial. It is more in the moment. Happiness is your responsibility to cultivate, and it needs to be outside of, like, other people cannot make you happy. That's when things get dangerous. Your goal in parenting should not be to make your kids happy. And I can do a podcast on that. And because I know that I have some friends who they're like, I just want my kids to be happy, grow up and be happy. And I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? What does that look like? What does it mean to be happy? I mean, one day, fresh bread makes me happy. The next day, the fact that I ate the fresh bread and I gained a few pounds does not make me happy, right? Same situation, but it has a different feeling. Joy, on the other hand, is contagious. Joy is a state of being, not a state of doing. And when we know and we cultivate this relationship with joy, it's cultivating a relationship with ourselves, our talents, our gifts, our strengths, our weaknesses, our fears, it's cultivating a relationship with the essence of us. And then you take it a step further, because who created the essence of us but God? And so by cultivating our experience with joy, we're also transforming our relationship with Christ. We're working to be more Christ-like. We're working to see that the things that we do have impact, the ripple effect when we have things that are going on in our lives, when we have friends who are going through things in our lives, we can actively take part, help. We can, and we don't even have to be there in the moment. We can pray. We can worship in their honor. Just say, God, we can worship God and let them experience that too. Like we can center our focus on God and help them, right? Us being joyful in the moment brings peace into the room. The way we look at circumstances, the way we approach them, or the way we handle them impacts the people around us, whether they're aware of it or not. Because joy is a state of being, not a state of doing. Choosing joy is choosing to rise above. It's choosing to not allow the circumstances to steal what we've already cultivated. It doesn't bring us down. It may knock us down for a little bit, but it doesn't knock us out, right? And so this journey, by knowing where we are on our joy path, by knowing what our focus is, where we are, we can know where to go, and we can know really what got us here. So many times we wake up and we're like, okay, how did I get here? What went right? What went wrong? How do I do it faster? How do I increase my joy? How do I get more? Right? I don't think any of us can experience too much joy. I don't think that is, I think that at that point, if we have joy overflowing, it readily pours into other people's cups. And so joy is a state of being, not a state of doing. We are human beings, not human doings. We are built to be connected and in relationship. So joy is, though you actively work on it for yourself, it is not just about you. It's not just about you. But by you taking a stand, and by you choosing it, and understanding the relationship with joy, your relationship with joy, you can then help others see the relationship and how they want to have a relationship with joy as well. So joy is a fruit of the Spirit, right? Joy, peace, patience, kindness, all those things. It's also something we're called to have. Consider it through trials. And we are told to renew our mind daily, because joy is something we have to be intentional about. It needs to be a ritual. It needs to be a habit. It needs to be a practice. And so Ecclesiastes 9:7 says, "Go eat your food with gladness and drink your wine with a joyful heart, for God has already approved what you do." I think that this is one of those moments, because so many people are like, "Oh, drink wine, it's great." It's like, no. What he's saying, go and celebrate, because he already approves of what you're doing. If you have the right heart, it doesn't matter the step. He directs our path, right? Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, acknowledge him in all your ways, and he will make your path straight. That he will renew you. He will heal you. He will strengthen you. He's already done that. So we get to accept it. We get to embrace it. We get to say, what now? We get to enjoy where we are and rest in the fact that there's nothing needed to be added to experience the joy of the Lord. It's a gift. The more we accept and the more we receive the gift, the more abundant we have it and the more it spills out and pours out. And then all of a sudden, it's that pitcher overflowing that other people can catch as well. Because let's face it, some days joy is a lot harder to accept. On the day I got the news about my husband, joy was really hard to accept. This is why I wrestled a lot with Job, the whole understanding of, well, you've lost your family and yet your latter is better than the former. And as I've grown through life experiences, as I've grown closer to Christ, as I've grown in my joy path, I see why. And it's about that depth of character. It's about the relationship. So we're stepping into it, something that's already available to you, which should take some pressure off of you, because it's just, we get to reveal it. We get to embrace it. We don't have to create it. It's not something that you're like, okay, I'm going to find a way to make joy in my life. I'm not going to downplay those serious trials where things look really bleak. During those times, you need to connect with somebody who's been there and has healed in a godly way, or someone who that wise counsel who has a praying heart and a praying spirit. This is when their abundance can spill onto you. It doesn't mean you have to put on rose-colored glasses and see everything as, oh, I know that I lost my job and my kids are failing out of school and my car broke down and I'm going to be joyful today. Like, no, let's be real here. We don't need to put on the facade that everything's okay to have joy. We don't have to put on the facade that our life's perfect. And we're like, even though everyone sees us falling apart, there's joy in the Lord. There is joy in the Lord. That doesn't mean there's not suffering on earth. So I'm not asking you to disregard it. I'm not asking you to avoid it or to just completely pretend like it doesn't exist. And that's the wonderful thing about a path, right? And a journey is there's detours. You're not at the destination if you keep going. Even if you thought you were at the destination, if you just keep going, you're still on the journey. You can get sidetracked. You can take a detour. You can take a wrong, that like the left or right fork. You can take the wrong side and you can turn around and backtrack. That's the brilliant side of a journey. That is the hope, is that as long as you keep moving, there's opportunities. There's more. There's hope, there's joy, there's love, there's peace, there's kindness, there's all those things if you stay on the journey. If you sit down on the bench and you don't get back up, if you pull over and to a gas station and just decide, this is where I'm going to be forever, then what? But the good thing is we have to gas up, even if we went the wrong way, and turn around and go back. And we can either backtrack if we know, okay, let me just back my steps up, or we can look at now, there's two ways to go. Which way is better? But again, trust in the Lord for your path. You get to focus on who you're being. He will direct what you're doing, what the outcome becomes. And so what if we already have joy and we just get to step into it? We get to know the path that we're on, where we are, where we came from, where we want to go. And we may not know the destination exactly. I may not know this is exactly where I want to go, but I know that, you know what, I want to have this feeling. I want to be able to express this. This is part of who I want to be. So we can just start making choices based on our understanding of that. And so, what if joy is a secret to happiness and fruitfulness and having a life that you love rather than one that you're just managing? What if knowing the path you're on is the secret to not numbing out? So, joy takes time to cultivate. We have to be intentional about it, but it's the journey, not the destination. So, someone else may be like years ahead, but a few steps ahead. Someone might be just started, but made leaps and bounds, and it's amazing because it doesn't take anything away from you. If someone else is joyful, ask them how, ask them why, ask them where they're getting the strength from. Maybe they have a lot of people around them who are pouring over, and so it's spilling onto theirs and they're propelling them. Maybe they have just really dove in and stayed focused on, this is where I am, this is where I want to go. Lord, show me the direction. And maybe they've had a few detours along the way, but they are still taking those steps, which is why we each of those paths we can honor and we can learn something from and we can get excited for, because as long as you don't give up, you're a winner. All right, as long as you don't give up, as long as you don't quit, you're going to be moving forward. And so joy takes time. It takes intentionality. For a long time, I really did think that I had to fight for it, and I had to that it was something that it was like, if you, to be honest, I was afraid of making a mistake. I was afraid that if I took the wrong step, something else would be taken away from me. That is not joy, friend. That is fear. And when I stopped looking at it as a destination and that I had to work for it, that it was less of an action and more a state of being, then I realized how I could allow it in my life instead of try to force it. Because it doesn't always look the same way for everybody. It doesn't always look the same way as your friends, as your neighbors, as your family members. But so many times we allow life to get in the way of us living. We allow life and we allow busyness and we allow the things to take precedent, to take all those to-do list items, those checklists, those time management, productivity tips to take center stage. We allow life to get in front of our living. And focusing on joy allows us to truly live. Now we have to do those life things. We have to make those doctor's appointments. We have to get those assignments, help our kids with the assignments. We have to clean the kitchen, things, we've got to do things. But to really experience life and embrace joy and embrace the life that God wants for us, the life of abundance, the life of beauty, the life of creativity, the life of impact, in order to be the light on the hill and shine for the love of Christ, in order to show others that it's possible, we can't let life get away in front of living. And so by focusing on the present moment and finding the joy in the present moment keeps you on the journey. So now, this joy path, this joy journey, would you like to know what path you are on? Would you like to know tips? And like, okay, if I know where I am, then I could start. Well, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Understanding is power. And when you get to where you are, you say, is this where I want to be? How long have I been standing here? Like if you're in the beginning of the journey and you're in for a while, like how long do you want to stay there? How long until you start taking actions to grow? How long until you start walking in faith instead of standing in faith? How is God going to direct your paths and direct your steps if you don't actually step them? So do you want to know what your joy path is? Well, I have been creating this quiz, this like it's for fun. It is for, but it will give you some information. And better than that is I give you specific tips and questions you can ask yourself, depending on where you are, where you fall. And just to give you a baseline for what your path is and where do you want to go. I'm really excited about it. It's fun and it's free. I have it on my website, and there's still bugs and kinks working out, anytime you work with new equipment, but I don't care. I wanted to get it into your hands because so many times people are just like, Tammy, what do you need? Like, where am I? Well, now you can figure it out. Now you can get that first step. And I am so excited to share it with you through years of learning and experience and just reflecting and connecting with God on what does joy really mean. That's how this was created. So go to my website and take it. That's easy, right? So easy. But I can't wait to share that with you. It is live now. If it's not there, it's because it crashed, and it will be there as soon as possible, because I'm actually doing all the testing and everything right now. But anyway, back to it. Nothing happens by accident. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in God's ordained direction. I think that our choices and our desires and our heart actually plays more part in what's happening to us around us than we even realize. Our desires, the desires of the heart as we connect with God, line with His. By knowing the desires of His heart and the desires of our heart, by understanding how He created us, it helps us see where we're going, how we can serve, and how we can be that light on the hill, how we can shine. And so if you haven't looked into my group, my membership yet, Shine, Be the Light community membership. It's still new and I'm still building it, but the intention is, let me help you see how you shine. Because when we shine, other people around us can shine. When we have one giant room and one lamp, it can shine so much. But when we start turning on all the lamps around us, it starts shining brighter and brighter and brighter. And our impact grows. But our energy, our effort, that's a better word, our effort doesn't have to. Because we're working together, we're multiplying. And that's what this group is created to do. This is what God has put on my heart, is so many women do not understand how He created them uniquely. They know it, they have that sense, they feel that they were different, but they haven't embraced how or why and what to do with it. And that's what I want to help you with. That is what I centered this membership around, is be the light that you were called to be. So I'm super excited about it. Again, that was the Discover You. It's switching to Shine, because who doesn't like to shine? Okay, with that, friend, I am so excited that you show up every week and listen to this, and I love getting messages. If you have not left me a rate or review or a comment, even a DM, just telling me if something hits you, if something resonates, if something you want to hear more about something, please let me know. On Apple, if you can leave a rate or review. On Spotify, there you go, Spotify, leave me a rate and review. Those mean so much. Those are the algorithm's way of realizing like, oh, people do want to listen to this. And so they will recommend it to other people. So if you can leave that for me, I would appreciate it. And with that, friend, choose joy until joy chooses you. I will see you next week. Have a good day.